This is a video explaining the Ebbeling single-stage treadmill walking test. This test is used to predict VO2 and quantify a health benefit rating for participants. First, in order to conduct this test, you'll need the participant's age, gender, and their age-predicted heart rate max. You'll also need several points that are based off that age-predicted heart rate max, so you'll need 50%, 70%, and 85% of that predicted heart rate max. You also need their resting heart rate and blood pressures in order to ensure that they are fit to conduct the test. This test consists of a warm-up followed by one single stage. The goal of the warm-up is to get the participant walking at a steady pace that gets their heart rate within the 50 to 70% range of their age-predicted max. Upon reaching that 50 to 70% range of their age-predicted heart rate max, we then increase the treadmill grade by 5% and continue the participant walking. They continue walking at a 5% grade, and we monitor their heart rate throughout the test into the 3rd and 4th minutes. At this point, we check and see if their heart rate has reached steady state, meaning that there's no variation of more than 5 beats per minute, and if that steady state heart rate has occurred, we can then terminate the test. If that steady state heart rate has not been achieved, we then increase the test by a 5th minute. Because it can sometimes be a little hard to manually palpate for a radial pulse during a treadmill test as opposed to a bike or the MCAP, we're using a polar heart rate monitor as backup here. Ian's acquiring the signal on the watch, and then once he's got that, he can place that on the arm of the treadmill and just verify that against his own measurements. Here, Ian notifies the participant that he's going to be starting the test, notifies them that the belt will start moving, starts it at a very slow pace, and then increases the speed. He makes sure it gets to a comfortable walking pace, and this test will take a little bit of practice knowing which walking speeds and how fast a person is walking and how that will correspond to their 50 to 70% of their age predicted heart rate max. So practice really is key here. The other thing you should be doing is monitoring their heart rate throughout. This is where a heart rate monitor really comes in handy as opposed to palpation for this test. Really ensuring that they're in that 50 to 70% range is key to this whole test. Once you've selected the pace that the participant will be walking at for the rest of the warm-up, you can monitor their heart rate, again ensuring that it does not increase so fast that it goes outside the 50 to 70% range. Note that she didn't achieve steady state heart rate during the warm-up, and that's actually fine, and we can still increase the grade 5%, but steady state is necessitated during the workload phase between either the 3rd and 4th, or if not achieved there, between the 4th and 5th stages. Once you've collected the final heart rate during the warm-up stage, you can then proceed to increase the grade by 5%. The participant continues to walk at the same pace that was selected during the warm-up, and you monitor heart rate throughout the test. Once heart rates in the third and fourth stage have been taken and shown to be within steady state, again that's within 5 beats per minute, you can terminate the test. If the fourth stage is not within 5 beats per minute of the third stage palpated heart rate, this fifth stage will likely ensure that there is a steady state heart rate achieved. Once those heart rates are collected, you can then slow the treadmill down and have the participant begin their active recovery. This usually involves getting them to straddle the treadmill to ensure that you don't slow it down while they're on it, decrease the grade down to 0, and you can either stop and then restart or slow the speed down to a comfortable walking speed, about 1.5 miles an hour. We can see some of the data from this test here. Once you've got the participant off the treadmill and sufficiently cooled down, you can then proceed to calculating their predicted VO2 max for this treadmill test. This is done using the speed of the treadmill, their steady state heart rate, so the average of the third and the fourth, or the fourth and the fifth workloads collected in beats per minute, their age, and their gender. You then take that estimated VO2 max, compare it in their health benefit rating chart, and see where they stand.